start speaking, I'd like to call on a number of people to stand behind me. Because when we started this journey in 2003, we were derided, humiliated, ostracised, marginalised, and told it would never happen. And there's one thing I've learned in political struggle as a political activist for 7 years, I did start when I was 15, is that you never forget the people who stand by you when you start a struggle. So I'd like to ask these men and women to come and stand behind me while I speak. Mr. Bill French. Could somebody bring a chair for Bill, please? Bill is 96. He is a foundation member of the Tunnerminnerwait Maulboyheener Commemoration Committee. He was orphaned as a young boy and was put in the Melbourne orphanage in the 1920s. His best friends were young Aboriginal children who looked after him because he was a small boy and he needed protection. And he never forgot that debt. And he felt that the way to honour that debt was to be involved. I'd also like to acknowledge his wife, Joy French, who died earlier this year, and also two other members, Ian Dunn and Peter Close, who died in this long struggle. I'd also like to call, to stand behind us, my wife, Ellen Jose. And if somebody can get a chair for Ellen, please. A Torres Strait Islander elder from Mer, who was actually instrumental in starting this struggle. Because in 2003, it was one of the darkest years in Australian history. We had powerful forces in this country. The Howard-led government and the privately owned Murdoch media saying that nothing had happened. The colonisation process was a walk in the park. History was denied. And we formed that commemoration committee on the back of an art exhibition which Ellen had at the William Mora Gallery, which was called It's a Fact, It's a Fact, It's a Fact, Up Yours Wind Shuttle. And this is the only surviving painting that we have at home because Ellen wouldn't sell this. It was a sellout exhibition. So I'll give it back to Ellen. She hasn't seen it for a while because I've kept it hidden from her. I'd like to call on, and I don't think Doug Chessman. Are you going to come up, Doug, or are you going to sit there? Doug's humility is legendary. An activist for many decades but never takes any credit. A foundation member of the Maulboyheener Tunnerminnerwait Commemoration Committee. Now, Rick Simpson, bring the banner with you, and Bill Pickering. Foundation members of the committee. Bill Pickering, I used to badger the Wednesday Action Group in the Anarchist Institute about this great story. Everybody in Australia knows about the Cherokees and the Comanches and the Apaches and Geronimo. But who can name one Indigenous freedom fighter? In 2016, in 2003. So these men joined the committee and worked tirelessly. And Bill, if it wasn't for Bill pushing me every week saying, Joe, when are you going to organise something? We wouldn't have organised the first Tunnerminnerwait Maulboyheener commemoration just down the road, a few metres down the road, in 2005 when 11 of us turned up and stared down security at RMIT. And then after the next few years we stared down security from the Victoria Police and RMIT until the Melbourne City Council stepped in and kind of did some behind the scenes negotiation. Because we don't negotiate. We never negotiate. I'd also like to call on the supporters from the Indigenous community. This is a highly political response to what was happening at the beginning of the 21st century in this country when this country's history was denied. I'd like to call on Robbie Forth to stand by me. Robbie didn't think we were mad. He just didn't think we'd achieve it. And our patron, Carolyn Briggs. Great. Hi there. And I've known, my wife Ellen and I have known Carolyn for over 40 years, and we've looked after each other's children. And all I can say is we wanted somebody with a foot in both camps. We wanted somebody with a foot in Tasmania and a foot in Melbourne. And Carolyn's pedigree fitted that. And the fact that although you think she's a nice conservative little Aboriginal elder, she has a heart of a radical beating in there. And we thought she was just the patient we need. Then I would like to thank Rowan Levitt, the Melbourne City Councillor, who in 2008, when we'd been ignored, marginalised, ostracised, I said, enough is enough, I'm going to stand as Mayor of Melbourne to raise this issue. And we did deals with Rowan, some little coffee shop in Adam Bank, to exchange preference. Little did they know that we got less than 1.5% of the vote. But we exchanged preference on the understanding that they would support and initiate this campaign within Melbourne City Council. I'd like Cathy Oak to come and stand with us. Every year, Cathy was humiliated at the Tunnerminnerwait Maulboyheener commemorations on the 20th of January since 2008. We'd say, what's happened, Cathy? And Cathy would give him a report. And she'd kind of sneak off and then promise to do something, and she did. And then when Jackie Watts was elected to the Melbourne City Council, come up here, Jackie, she had some alliance. And it was these three councillors who pushed and shoved and elbowed their fellow councillors to unanimously pass a resolution to build a monument. And then came the argy-bargy with the working committee, the process by which the artists were selected, the interaction with Aboriginal people from Tasmania. And the great thing about this campaign is that it was inclusive. Because we were radicals, we cut through protocol. We didn't follow the rules. We didn't beg and beseech. We demanded, but demanded in a number of ways. Not just working out the right channels, but working outside the channel. And last of all, I would like to thank all those people that have come to the commemoration year in and year out. Without your support, this would not have been possible. This is your reward for your participation, your persistence and your belief. And why is this important? This is not just a permanent marker or an installation or a monument. This is the visual and physical crystallisation of a political and social movement which says the past needs to be acknowledged. Without the past being acknowledged, we will never be able to understand the present and, more importantly, change the future. Go on that reconciliation journey which is central to us being Australians. This is a historic occasion. Over the next few decades, these gatherings will be replicated across this country because we are recognising something very important. That's why we use the term lest we forget. We are recognising that men, women and children, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of men, women and children pay the ultimate price for resisting the colonisation process in the most brutal way. And we have fought back Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians, radicals and non-radicals, we have fought back to say enough is enough. We need to acknowledge the past. And I congratulate the Melbourne City Council for having the courage and the strength to ensure that this has happened, because there was a lot of pressure placed on them by a lot of people to ensure that this did not occur. So go back to your communities, whether it's in Tasmania, whether it's Western Australia, whether it's Northern Territory. Put your hand out to your Indigenous brothers and sisters. Form a commemoration committee. There are massacres on every inch of this soil. Honour those men, women and children and create a tangible monument to them. Not for the sake of creating a tangible monument, for the sake of kick-starting a stalled reconciliation process which can never go forward until the past is publicly acknowledged. So, thank you.